What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your man Chris Allen out here grinding on another episode of On the Grind here in Jacksonville, Florida, man. Out here interviewing these entrepreneurs. Man, we got some serious talent in this city, and it's my goal to spotlight and interview them and talk about how they became successful. The mindset. I'm telling you, it's all about a mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset. Today, I'm out here with Shawn Drake, who is the senior marketing director with the company by the name of WealthWave. He's also a financial advisor with Trans-American Financial Advisory. Shawn relocated to Jacksonville back in 1997 from Chicago, y'all. He attended the University of North Florida, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. You know, over the last 16 years, he's been working in the sales industry, which has developed a true passion for economics, finance, and entrepreneurship. He decided to merge these particular passions together with a career in financial services back in 2005. After working in the finance industry for over several years, it became very apparent and clear to him to ramp up his energy in the financial service industry. Finding out that there's not only a literacy not only in Northeast Florida, but throughout the great nation. And in 2015, he developed the company Rise Leadership Academy, which developed a team of individuals from all walks of life dedicated to the mission of helping people increase their financial literacy through entrepreneurship and mental toughness training. So come with me as we interview Shawn Drake, the financial advisor. Come on.
I'm always ready. Let's get it, Doc. All right. What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Chris Allen, coming to you live with another episode of On the Grind. Today I'm here with my man, Mr. Shawn. We've been trying to get together for a minute, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the show, Shawn Drake.
Hey, man.
In the building.
Pleasure.
Good stuff, man. How you doing?
I'm awesome.
Doing good?
I'm good.
We in this beautiful office that you got over here. They told me I can't do no cameras. It's too secretive for me. We can do no cameras. It's all good though. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh, you can record.
Yeah. I respect it. Talk about it, man. Let's talk about you. When did you fall in love with entrepreneurship?
Man, that's not hard to answer, but there's like different levels to as with anything being in love. So I think the first time I fell in love with entrepreneurship would have been really back in 2005, right around there. And what I quickly discovered is that a lot of times when you're starting out, because I was a young man back then, right? When you're starting out, your ambitions are like massive, right? When you 22, 23, 24 years old, you have this desire to conquer the world, sure, and you believe that no matter what track you're on, you can do it, and so you find yourself working 50, 60 hours a week and doing all the things and showing up and then something usually happens in that space, right? That takes you off the rails, and usually it's the person that's in front of you doesn't have the same desire or ambition that you have, right? And now you come along, and naturally what should happen is you should motivate that person to move along, nudge them along, or do better. But unfortunately, there's this evil disease in America called complacency. Absolutely. And you have a lot of people who are, in middle management positions that are very complacent, and they arrive there, that's all they ever want to do. And so you come along with your ambition and you're deciding, man, you know what, I want to be a VP, I want to be CEO, I want to be all these things. Right. But there's a hurdle or two. There's sometimes a supervisor and manager in front of you. Sure. And both are complacent. Both are playing a game that didn't involve you. So you come along and all of a sudden you start realizing like your ideas are not yours. Sure. You know, a lot of the hard work that you're putting in, you're not getting credit for.
Sure.
You know, a lot of the things that you're wanting to do, you're getting all of the reasons why you can't do them. You know, and so for me, I started feeling that for the first time in 2003.
Okay.
And but you kind of run with it. I'm young, maybe it's experience, whatever. You just kind of run with it. But then, you know, a couple years in, all of a sudden you're like, okay, wait, this is crazy. Now, at the same time, what started happening to me is I was meeting a lot of people who were business owners. And, you know, as a young man, you hear the word business owner, but you don't really know what that means, you know. And so I started meeting a lot of business owners. Really, some were small business owners. Some started small business owners and became medium-sized businesses. Some became big businesses. And they were just explaining to me what they went through on a daily basis and what got them into entrepreneurship and how they got started. And I just started adding everything up. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like me.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, you know, at the same time that starts happening, the next thing that starts happening to you is the current track that you're on is not as illustrious anymore. You know, it's not moving as fast, and you know, you that 60-hour-a-week thing starts getting old, man. And you know, you're 2-3 years in, and you're not seeing the reward that was promised in the beginning. So, so a lot of that started happening, and you know, at the same time, you know, on a Wednesday afternoon, you know, your small business owner friends are coming back from some adventure they had at the beach, or they went and, you know, they took a 3 or 4 day trip down to the Bahamas or whatever, and you know, and it wasn't summer vacation, it wasn't spring break, they felt like going. And they're cataloging everything that's happening, they're talking about everything that's happening. You sit here like, I want to go to that. I want to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden, you know, and it's not for everyone, but for me, you know, there's this subtle internal shift that happens to you, and where your ambition starts recognizing that, yo, where you are right now can't feed me anymore. And so if you are the type of person that listens to your ambitions and your drive, that's gonna bother you. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not gonna get as much sleep as you used to. You're not gonna get as fulfilled as you used to, because now your ambition is no longer being fed by what you're doing currently. I was that person. You know, some people, they're able to mask it and whatever, security and you know, I've always wanted to work here and you know, that type of thing. So I'll just endure. Nothing wrong with that. That just wasn't me. Gotcha. And so my ambition really just started bothering me every day, and it just got to a point where I was like, okay, I gotta do something. And you know, that's how I came to be an entrepreneur. You know, I came to work in this business, and I just started there with, okay, I gotta feed my ambition, you know, and because everything else you take care of, but my ambition, ooh.
Right. So, do you come from a family of entrepreneurs, or do you come from, quote unquote, the working class folk?
You know what? A mix of both. Okay. So, a little background on me. I'm from the islands. Okay. I was born in Jamaica, grew up in Chicago.
So you got about 15 jobs.
Yeah, man. Listen, people laugh at that, but you know what? That's skit from back in the day.
Right.
It's true, man.
Right.
It starts at home. You are the house cleaner.
Sure,
you are the snow removal, lawn care. You are laundry.
Right. The payroll.
You're the dishwasher. You know what I mean? You're the gardener. All those things. So, you know, I laugh now at those things, but when you look back on it, those things instilled work ethic in you, you know, because, yo, we gotta get this done. You know, mom's not gonna be happy. And when mom's not happy, like, I don't care what's going on, like, nothing is gonna work for you. So yeah, like, my mom's side of the family was more working class. You know, we came here, I was one, moved to Chicago. You know, we knew how to work hard. We knew how to grind. Sure. You know, and so, you know, my grandmother came first. My grandparents really came first. And then my mom and I and aunt and uncle, we all came, and everybody just kind of went to the working class, you know. And as a kid, I'm an infant, so I don't really know anything about that. But, you know, as a child watching your parents as you're growing up, you know, the thing that you unfortunately becomes a part of you is you assimilate to what it is that they did.
Sure.
Right? So they came here, and in the late 70s, early 80s, you know, most of the people in my family got a job making about 35 grand a year. You know, which back then was a great income.
Absolutely.
You know, and so we pooled our resources together. We always used to live together, so we always had big apartments, you know, 3-4 bedroom apartments. Everybody lived together, pooled their money together, grocery shop together. You know, it was kind of the early form of cooperative economics that we're seeing today. But that was the good part. But the bad part is, you know, when you're a kid and your mom makes 35 grand, your aunt makes 35 grand, you know, your grandparents are making, you know, 28 to 35 grand, you know, your uncle's making 35 grand. What do you think you're supposed to do when you start getting older?
That's it.
I'm supposed to start making 35 grand, right? And so looking back on it, what unconsciously was happening to me is when I moved here to Jacksonville, all of the jobs that I gravitated to paid about $30,000 to $35,000.
So good thing, yeah.
And it's here, you know, and you don't know it, but it's here. And so my mom's side of the family was a working class family. So I got a lot of my work ethic, man, show up, be on time, you know, tuck your shirt in, you know what I mean? Be respectable, you know, you don't really challenge authority, that type of thing. You get in, you pay your dues, like that came from my mom's side of the family. My father's side of the family, who I didn't really grow up with, I spent my summers in Jamaica with my father and my father's side of the family. My father's side, entrepreneurial. My grandfather owned a hardware store.
Wow. And
that hardware store, my cousins and I over the summers, we would like play around the hardware store and run around. It was pretty big. I mean, it had everything, man. You know, this wouldn't be on the magnitude of a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but you know, in Jamaica, to have a pretty large hardware store was incredible. I mean, they sold everything from cement, wood to, you know, feed for animals and paint and light bulbs and glass, and I mean, you name it, they sold it. You know, there was also a restaurant that was attached to the hardware store. So, you know, during the day I would sneak upstairs, you know, and you know, in Jamaica everybody's an auntie or uncle. So I sneak upstairs to my aunties, man, and they cooking fried chicken, jerk chicken, or whatever, man. And, you know, I'm hanging out in the kitchen, man. You know what I mean? Because all the good food is there. So, you know, so there was that piece. They also owned a gas station not too far from where the hardware store was. You know, really maybe about a mile and a half up the road was a Texaco gas station that my family owned, my father's side of the family owned. And, you know, for a time, one of my uncles ran, you know, the Texaco station. For a very long time, my father was kind of the manager of the Texaco and the hardware store and all those things. They also had a very large farm, 50-plus acre farm in Jamaica, and this had everything from, you know, produce like, you know, mangoes and bananas and plantains and oranges and grapefruits, man, and you know, you start talking about, you know, ackee and breadfruit, and I mean, every exotic fruit that you could think of was on this farm. And then on top of that, they raised cattle and they raised poultry, and you know, you had peacocks running around on the farm, man, and ducks and goats and all these things. So, and what would happen is, you know, my grandfather and my father, you know, they sent, you know, poultry and they would send like cattle to slaughter, or they would send goats to slaughter, or, you know, so there was always that, and someone was always coming to buy something. So, you know, my cousin and I, you know, at a very, very early age, my grandmother in the morning would send us out to chicken coops to collect all of the eggs that had been laid overnight. And so those eggs went down to, some went to the gas station, some went to the hardware store for sale. You know what I mean? And so there's revenue that comes from that. Back then I didn't understand any of that, but today I do. We would run around and you know, after we would collect, you know, the eggs, we would then, this was my summers, by the way.
Wow, right. When no one of Universal Studios, nothing like that?
No, these were my summers, by the way. You know, most kids, you know, they went to Pee Wee football and you know, they went and did all these different summer camp things. I did that a little bit later. You know, I would be in camp for like a month, and then I'd be in Jamaica for like 2 months. Right? So we would walk through the orchard and we would pick up, you know, sometimes the ripe fruit would fall, like mangoes and oranges and grapefruits and avocados and passion fruit, you name it. Or sometimes there was some that was, you know, low-hanging fruit. So you could reach down and, you know, pick it and you know, collect all of that stuff. That was our job. And we would, you know, bring it into the kitchen for my grandmother. She would inventory everything. Some stuff stayed on the farm. which is for us to eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. And some stuff went in a we call it a crop-bus bag, a big crop-bus bag, and it's a big, you would call it a satchel or a big coarse bag. They would haul coconuts in it. So the bag had to be tough enough to carry, half a dozen coconuts and not tear. So we would fill those bags with mangoes or oranges or whatever, and they would go down to the hardware store and they would be for sale. Or sometimes they went on the menu at the restaurant. You know what I mean? So that side of the family, completely entrepreneurial. We had one of my uncles on my father's side was an attorney, kind of entrepreneurial.
Gotcha.
He's always had his own practice. We've had, my aunts have always been in some type of little trade or some type of little, in Jamaica we call it a little hustle.
Gotcha.
Like a hustle. Somebody's cooking something, somebody's baking something. And so I always had a good mix of both sides of the family. Now on my mom's side of the family, what would happen is, at Christmas time, the holiday time, my grandmother and my mother made Caribbean black cake, right? And, we call them rum cakes.
Uh-huh.
And Easter time, we would make Caribbean bun, and literally people, to this day, people still get with my mom and order cakes and order bun, and, she gets the orders and she pulls all the ingredients together and bakes and sells them.
Wow.
So she had a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting enough, now today more so, that entrepreneurial spirit's coming out of her more. And so she does all types of things. But yeah, so I came from both sides of that equation where, some working class, some entrepreneurial, and I got a chance to see it all from a young age. So yeah.
Let's talk about that personal development.
Yep.
When you think back over your life, over the personal development, what was that? What was your aha moment? Did you have a book that was an aha moment for personal development? Did you have a course that was an aha moment? What was that?
I had several.
Mm-hmm.
I had several things that happened to me. And let me give you a little background.
Okay.
So when your ambition is so big and your vehicle is not big enough to carry your ambition,
That's good.
you turn into an angry person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that was me. I was very, very angry. Post-recession, I was upset.
Mm-hmm.
I was angry. I mean, everything set me off, right? And I felt, I had the biggest chip on my shoulder, right? Period. You come from up north, you already have a chip on your shoulder. You feel like everybody's out to get you.
Mm-hmm.
When I first moved down here, I was like, man, why are you walking so fast? I'm like, everybody, we walk fast.
We walk fast.
we walk fast, we talk fast. That's how we do things. So, I had this big chip on my shoulder, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that I was messed up. I didn't realize that I had a lot going on that I needed to change internally. And so, for me, the aha moment came, my business partner had put me through a Dale Carnegie course, right? And this was anybody knows Dale Carnegie, he's public speaking figure. Dale Carnegie will get you right, right? The thing I didn't bank on was what it did for me emotionally, and it really rewired me emotionally to help me deal with some of the issues that I was going through as a man. As a man in my early to mid 30s, this. You're gonna, as a black man, especially in America, in your early mid 30s, that's the storm. That's the storm.
Oh man, good.
If you can survive your 30s as a black man, you take over the world. I promise you that, right? And that's not a knock on any other race or anything that's going on, but I'm not another race. I'm a black man, and I know what I've been through as a black man in America. And I went through my 30s very angry at the world. How come we can't get more opportunities? Are they holding us back? And all these things. And that aha moment came. I went through that course, and I read a lot of John Maxwell books, and I had read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and you read Napoleon Hill and all those things. But it wasn't until I was in my mid 30s, I was kind of like 35, and my knowledge started to apply to my life.
That's good. So all the stuff that you have read and learned, now you can apply it to what you're going through.
And it's literally, it was an overnight thing. It was like all of your training, you know, all of a sudden you come up against that storm again, and the storm has been knocking you down, right? And then all of a sudden your training comes in, and you're like, wait a minute, why are we falling down on this? We know how to handle this. And it started coming. So for me, there was a great book that I read is called The E-Myth Revisited by Mike Gerber. And I think for any entrepreneur, you have to read that book. You have to read that book because you'll quickly realize it's not about being good at whatever skill. It's really about business and how to scale and become bigger. That was the first book that changed me. And if these books are the first time you're hearing about them, like go get them now, right? My mom put Rich Dad Poor Dad in my hands as a teenager, and I think she put it in my hands too soon, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't really know what I was reading. I read it because she told me to read it, sure. But I didn't really know what I was reading. I read that probably about 17, 18.
Gotcha.
But I reread it later in my late 20s. The book that then changed me was The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And then that is really where the light bulbs started really going off. And then by the time I came to the E-Myth Revisited, by the time I came to the 360-Degree Leader by John Maxwell, by the time I started coming to How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, it felt like I finally had armor. You know,
like you can start building.
Right. I had armor. Mm-hmm. And now things that used to cut me ain't cut anymore. You know, because they weren't puncturing, you know, my armor. And so those books changed me. And all of a sudden, you know, I started leaving behind the things that mattered to me. Right. There's another book that I still reference to this day. It's called 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class by an author named Steve Sebald, right? Also part of our firm now, which I'm super excited about. But it's like an encyclopedia of mental toughness.
Wow.
Right? You go from personal development, it will transform into mental toughness, right? You can't confuse the two.
Sure.
Okay? Personal development is, I want to get better. I know I need to get better. And I'm kind of like, I'm putting my foot in the water and I'm trying to wade a little bit.
Gotcha.
But then all of a sudden you learn how to swim, right? And then now you're learning how to hold your breath underwater. Now you're learning how to tread water. Now you're learning how to, you know, really navigate. That's mental toughness, right? And don't get it twisted. You know, when the storm comes, the storm is different every time. Right? And so sometimes the storm is quick. It's just like a Florida rain shower, right? Sometimes, it's gonna rain, be done in 10 minutes, whatever, right? And then life is good. But then sometimes it rains all day. And you have plans to go play golf. So what are you gonna do? Right? And so, you know, that personal development, given enough time, transforms into mental toughness. And the mental toughness is where you want to be. Because that's when you really start becoming, I believe, who you are. And now it doesn't matter if it's raining. I don't care if the lights are off. Man, I don't care that the drawer just fell apart on me. I don't care that person just canceled an appointment on me. I don't care that, you know what I mean, that piece of business we thought that was going to go through didn't come through, or it went through and it came back. I don't care. I don't care that there was a hiccup with whatever is going on. Now that mental toughness, man, it sharpens you like an axe, and you can cut anything, you know, and so that's the difference right there. That personal development piece, it'll transform into mental toughness on you, and from that point, it's where we're going. What we're gonna do.
Do you remember your first business that you've ever done? Do you remember that? Was this your first one? Really? Okay.
This was it, man.
And then the company that you're with right now, talk a little bit about. Because I want to say network marketing, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
It has a network marketing flavor.
So let me talk about it. So and this will,
you can say the name of the company if you want.
Yeah, no problem. So the firm I'm with now is called World Financial Group and Wealthway. And so you know, we're a financial services marketing firm. We work with, you know, all of your top name financial companies in the industry. You know them, we work with them. Okay. And so
your CEO is
he's big.
Ed Miler, right?
Actually, our CEO is Tom Matthews.
Who's Ed Milet to you?
Ed is agency chairman.
Gotcha.
And everyone, again, if you don't know who Ed Milet is,
Drake. Dang.
just YouTube Ed Milet, and then just spend the next 6 months of your life.
Just on that, if you just do that alone,
You'll be okay.
you'll be good.
You'll be okay. Ed is one of the agency chairmen out west. I mean, incredible superstar. I saw Ed Milet for the first time at our company convention in 2006. That changed me, by the way.
That convention.
That convention changed me, by the way. That was part of my personal development. You sit in the room with great leaders like Ed Milet, and we got guys like Tom Matthews, and there's another guy on our team by the name of Bill Mitchell, and I could be here for 45 minutes telling you all the names of people I've sat in on that are part of our company. And I've sat in on meetings where they've been the keynote speaker and that they have, said or done something that inspired me or changed me. But Tom Matthews is actually one of the CEOs of our company, actually co-founder of World Financial Group.
Gotcha.
And he is the founder of the Wealthway.
Gotcha.
And so right now, we're working on a project called How Money Works. And there's a book coming out called How Money Works. Stop being a sucker.
Gotcha.
Okay. Coming to you live in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, we want to do something with that.
We're already doing things with that right now. And so right now, this was my first company. This was my first business, right? And what happened is, and I'm going to say something that's going to upset a few people. I don't really care, but every entrepreneur, every small business is a network marketing company.
Absolutely.
And the people that don't believe it are going to die a horrible death from a business perspective. If you don't understand that you have to get out and shake hands, you have to get out and meet people, you have to get out and talk about who you are, you have to talk about your brand, your business. You have to develop your brand and your business. If you don't understand that, you're going to lose. And you're not going to lose a little, you're going to lose big. You're going to lose big. So, I find it interesting that people that get mad, I don't want to be part of MLM, I don't want to be part of that network marketing, I don't want to do that, I just want to make money. I'm sorry. How do you plan on doing that? Oh, that's a pyramid scheme, you guys are just doing blah, 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 and it's like, let me ask you a question. Where do you work? You work at XYZ company, right? Are you a manager, supervisor? No, I'm just an employee. Okay, you make more money than your supervisor? No. Does your supervisor make more money than the manager? No. Does the manager make more money than the VP? No. Do they make more money than the CEO? No. What is that? You just described to me a pyramid of which you just said out loud, you can't make more money than the next person, right? Every small business owner that knows, so we have an organization here, but you can out-earn the next man tenfold if that's the case. And there's countless examples of that happening here where, people that are on my team had a better year than I did last year. They made more money than I did. Hey, congratulations. I love it because you know what? Because I'm a business owner, I earned a little teeny tiny piece of what they did, right? And that, my friends, is what we call leverage. And that, my friends, is why I got into business. Not for the money. The money's great. But money is fleeting, right? I've had times where I've had pockets full of money, and I've had times where I had pockets full of nothing. Lint, my friend, right? Where you go to swipe the card, you're like, dang, I thought we were okay, and so we weren't. So it's never been about the money for me, right? Well, let me change that, right?
For those, I understood what you said.
Right. Let me back up. Right. You start for the money, right? As a young man, you start thinking, dang, I could buy more. Foolishness, whatever it is. Cars, clothes,
the rims,
the drinks, all the things to attract women. Like that's what you're in it for.
It comes from a sense of insecurity as well.
Oh man, we have all the we have a whole other meeting on that, right? But you're correct. So it starts with the money. But then here's what happens is all of a sudden you start realizing that, money is fleeting. I can do anything with the money, but the thing that I value more than anything else is not having to fight traffic in the morning.
Good.
I was developing high blood pressure from having to jump in traffic at 7:30 in the morning, 7:45 in the morning to try to get a job at 8:30 across town. And you're dealing with the stresses of people texting and driving and drinking and driving and doing all these crazy things, accidents, making you late for work. And then you get to work and somebody's screaming and yelling at you because of something that you couldn't control. And you know, it should take you 20 minutes, but it took you an hour to get there, right? And so not having to fight traffic every day. Not having to ask, when can I get up and go to the bathroom? Why are you in the bathroom? That's not a scheduled break. Scheduled break. You know, when I need to eat lunch at 12:30.
Well, you're hungry by 12 and I'm hungry by 12:30.
Right. You know, like what? You know, and you know, really the thing that really started doing it for me was I had a sick grandparent back in early 2000s, right? And you know, my grandfather on my mother's side, you know, God rest his soul, passed from cancer 2004. And not being able to take off and go spend the time I wanted to spend with him when he was in his last days. All of a sudden, the money didn't matter. I wanted time. I just needed time with him, right? And so that flexibility, that leverage that you don't have is the thing that is, to me, more important than money. To be able to jump on a plane and go somewhere you want to go, or jump in your car and go somewhere if you need to be there right now, right? You can't buy that. Corporate America can't do that to you, right? Not at the you know, majority of the rungs where people are in America. You can't do it. If you got a kid that's sick, how do you go right now, right? And your boss say, hey, if you leave again, you know your last occurrence. You know, if you leave, you can leave early, but I don't know if you will have a job tomorrow, right? But your kid is throwing up, or your parent is throwing up, or your loved one is in the hospital. What you gonna do, right? So now I gotta risk my whole life because it's plugged into this thing that I don't have any control over, right?
It's truly a risk.
That's no leverage, right? So for me, the thing that became attractive was the leverage. Right? And so I want to describe something to you that most entrepreneurs miss. And I think that this needs to be the goal for every entrepreneur. You got to replace yourself.
That's good.
Right? So if I'm starting company A, it don't matter. This is a financial services company. Man, you could be selling bread on the side of the road, don't matter. Your goal has to be to replace yourself 100%. Right? Life begins when you replace yourself. Right? So you got to ask yourself, what is it going to take to replace me? How long is it going to take to replace me? Here's what I mean by replace me. So me at the end of my own two hands, I can go out and make X amount of dollars, right? The trick is that, or the trap really, is people fall in love with some of these careers and nothing wrong with them, right? But you see it played out a lot of time right now with the football players, right? I love football. Right, when every time I boycott the NFL, man, y'all crazy. Right, y'all crazy. Boycott something else. Boycott baseball. I don't care about that, right? But I'm not boycotting the NFL, right? But so what happens is you have people that train their whole lives to make money playing in the NFL profession, and they make tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, right? But then what happens if you get hurt? Right? And we saw horrific injuries last year that happened. Same thing in the NBA, right? So I go out and I blow out my knee, I blow out my ankle, right? I feel bad for Kevin Durant, right? Blew out his Achilles, right? He's done for a year. May not be the same, probably be close, but he'll probably never be the same dude, right? Now, fortunately, he was smart enough to ink his paper in advance of that, but what if that cut his career short, right? So his earnings potential was cut short, right? Same thing in the NFL. Most of those contracts aren't guaranteed, so if I'm an NFL lineman, the defense or offense, and I go out and get hurt, right? If I'm not tenured, my career is over. Then what, right? So your earnings potential is directly impacted and linked to your ability to go out and do something in your own two hands, right? So your job as an entrepreneur has to be, I can't fall in love with the money that I'm making from whatever I'm doing, right? So most people think, oh, I'm going to be an attorney, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a dentist, I'm going to be something else. High-paid professions. Love those professions. We need them. But at the end of the day,
it's only by your hands.
My hands, and that's it, right? So as an entrepreneur, the leverage that you have to create is, how can I replace my income, right? So I'm still gonna go make mine, but But if it took 5 people to replace me, I gotta go find at least the 5 people. So if I wake up tomorrow morning and say, you know what, man, I ain't feeling it, I'm sick. You know what's interesting? As an entrepreneur, I've never been sick, but maybe one time.
Right.
That's crazy. But when I had a job, like
a weekend,
you know, it felt like once a month I was sick. I was ill, fever, sniffles, something. Right. But if you wake up one morning and you say, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I need a day off, or I'm gonna go hang out with the family, I'm gonna go play golf somewhere, I'm gonna go do something else. You should be able to do that and not have to worry about, well, where's the money gonna come from, right? If I don't go open the shop, is the money still gonna come in, right? If that's your worry, then you're self-employed. You're not truly an entrepreneur. You have a product and you're probably good at distributing that product, but you don't really have a business yet, right? So you're close, but you don't really have a business yet. I think that you've got to create that leverage and say, all right, I want to go and start my thing, but then I got to get people to help me push my thing forward, and I need to step back from that as much as possible. Once that starts happening, now you're an entrepreneur.
Good. You talked about earlier, about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You talked about the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about that in that book.
Absolutely.
The very thing that we're talking about right now, self-employed, business owner, entrepreneur, investor. He talks about that. If you don't understand that mindset of those 4 quadrants, you're missing it.
You're missing it. Completely. You gotta understand, you know, just to paraphrase it, you know, if I'm operating on the left side of the quadrant, nothing wrong with that, right? You know, 80-85% of people are employees, and they're gonna be employees, you know. I think and this is what I drew between the lines, and you have like these great organizations, you have these great things that people see on TV, you know, people go on Shark Tank and like, oh my gosh, I gotta get a product and Mark Cuban's gotta like it and I'm okay, I'm set for life, right? Really, sometimes you gotta flirt with both categories. Sometimes I gotta get up and go to a place at 8:30 in the morning and grind till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. But then I gotta cut off everything else in my life. I gotta divorce everything in my life because my business is in its infancy. I did that. I was part-time here for years. I was part-time because I didn't know what I was doing. Right? I was smart, I had a work ethic, I was developing myself, I was developing my mental toughness, I was putting on my armor. But I still was like, all right, I ain't fully had that belief in myself yet that I could that the airplane could fly and not crash. And I was like, man, you know, I still gotta work, I still gotta hold down a job, I still need some benefits, whatever, right? And so I flirted between, you know, being an employee, being self-employed, and I was developing that leverage. So I had a little bit of a business going, right? I had some people that I was developing around me, and they were part-time too. So we had this great part-time thing that we were doing together. And then one day, well, we were talking about, you know, operating in 2 different categories, being an employee, being self-employed, trying to get your business off the ground. Again, this goes back to the conversation about time, right? And so because I was in control of my time, I started realizing that, you know what, I can do this. I just need to divorce the rest of my life, right? And so again, being in my mid-30s, for lack of a better word, probably pissed off a lot of people because I literally quit communicating with people altogether. And you know, I've always been a social guy. I've always been a very humorous guy, you know, big personality, you know, like to have a great time. But right around, I say about 35, 36, I quit communicating with people.
Okay.
And I quit hanging out. You know, I had a lot of friends that were, you know, had great entertainment businesses and had parties and clubs and things they were doing. I wanted to support, but I knew that my brain couldn't handle it. And number 2, I didn't have the time to spend there. You know, I partied so hard in my 20s. I mean, oh my God, I partied. And I didn't have the time to dedicate to that anymore. So literally I would leave work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and I would come to our office. And from probably 5:30 or 6:30 in the evening till sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night, man, man.
Gotcha.
We were in here, appointments, conversations. Sometimes it was training. Sometimes it was personal development.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we were on the road somewhere. We would have an event up in Atlanta, up in Johns Creek, or we had stuff going on in Tampa or whatever, and that was going on a Saturday morning. And I would leave work on a Friday night, man, and we would carpool it. So I would park my car out here. We would jump in the car, carpool it to Tampa, carpool it to Atlanta. My car would be here all weekend. And I would be wherever we were. Sometimes a flight, we'd get on a plane and go to Las Vegas or LA where we had a big event going on. And, you know, I would come back and then go right back to work the next day, you know? And so
your regular 9-to-5 job.
Regular 9 to 5. And so if you looked at it, man, I was probably working 40 hours one place, 60 hours another place. That's why my beard is gray. You know what I mean? Because I put in the time. And so let me tell you what happened to me that changed, that where I started realizing that the airplane was gassed, we had all the passengers we needed, and we get ready to take off, is the first time. We get paid twice a week here.
Gotcha.
The first time I opened my pay cycle here, and the one time that pay cycle on Tuesday was greater than my 2-week pay cycle at my 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And then we get paid again on Fridays. We get paid Tuesday, Friday. And then Friday's pay cycle clicked over and it was the same. Right? And that pay cycle was greater than the 2-week pay cycle that I was getting at my 9 to 5.
Wow.
And that happened, I flirted with that on and off for about 2 months. And I said, what am I doing? Now that ambition says, oh, we found it. Proof of concept works, right? The ambition is like, yo, now I'm sitting at the 9 to 5 and my ambition is eating at me as if I'm hungry. Is it, you know, you wake up and then eat something for breakfast, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you like, oh, I am starving. My ambition was eating at me like that every day.
Wow.
Like it felt like I was physically hungry, and I'm sitting here wasting my time, and I'm sitting there like, dude, I could be doing this, making more money. I could be talking to the next person. I could be in front of the next client. I could be building my brand. I could be doing whatever. And that ambition just aided me and aided me and aided me. And the last place I worked at, I had a contract with a company locally. I'm not going to say the name just because I still got some friends over there. And I don't want to, you know what I mean? But, you know, I got let go from that place. On my ambition was eating at me so bad, and I won't front. I was a horrible employee towards the end. I was a horrible employee.
Because you knew you was going out. You was out.
Oh, bro,
I
was into about. I got let go from there probably about 7 months before I wanted to.
Okay.
Right. So it's not like it was a complete shock because I was like, okay, I gotta make a move out of here. Right.
Hold that. Do you think that if you had not been let go at that time, do you think it would prolong your success?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I probably stayed there about a year too long anyway.
Okay. Gotcha.
But what I will say is where I was at that point in my life and what I had been through, it wouldn't matter.
Gotcha.
It wouldn't matter. As a matter of fact, I ran into one of our counterparts, a guy by the name of Andy Horner. I was in Las Vegas, not this past year before that. And we had success knocking over everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So Andy, we had drinks with him after one of our sessions. And he looked at me in the face and he said, I had no doubt that you were going to hit this next promotion and become a senior director. And I said, how did you know? He said, because the last time I saw you, you had this look in your eye of, I will not be denied.
I'm going to get this.
Right. I will not be denied. Mm-hmm. And I remember the conversation we had had, and I said, man, I really had that look in my eye. He said, oh yeah. He said, I knew you weren't going to miss. I knew it was just a matter of time. And so I think that when I got let go, I was upset because you want to do things on your time, right? Oh man, right?
He fired me.
He said, right, oh man, I quit. You know, that type of thing. But so what ended up happening is I was a horrible employee, but look, I don't. doubt I was a bad employee, but where I am in life now, what I want to think about is why was I a bad employee? Because I pride myself on my work ethic, and I pride myself on doing a good job. And even though I was a bad employee, I was still a top producer, right? So what I looked at now was, why was I a bad employee? And I can tell you with 100% certainty, the reason I was a bad employee is because my ambition no longer wanted to ride in that car.
That's good.
And now,
did I get that? That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
My ambition, it's like a little kid that don't want to do something. Right? And you're like, no, we gotta go do this. And they like throw themselves on the ground and you gotta drag them or you try to pick them up, they kick in the street. That was my ambition. Mm-hmm. And my ambition had tasted the money that I was making on this side was now equal to or greater than what I was making on that side, right? And all of a sudden, my ambition, which is blind, can't see what you can see, it can only feel, right? And so my ambition felt that. And it was like, nah, we're not doing that no more. Nah, it's over, it's a wrap. And so we ended up coming here. That was February 15th, 2015 is when that happened. I remember like it was yesterday, it was a Friday. And that weekend I was very, very upset. But that Monday morning, I had to look in the mirror. Like literally a look in the mirror.
Gotcha. Because
all of these emotions had bubbled up on me. Fear, obviously one of them, because this was the first time. Now that the safety net is gone, you got to do this. And so now or never. Right. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
The storm is here. And grace of God, man, I've never looked back.
That's good. That's good.
We've never looked back.
And that was 2015, so you've been full-time since 2015 till now. Full-time, 100% doing the business.
February 15, 2015 is when I officially went full-time with my business, 100%, not look back.
Wow.
My phone ain't ever been cut off.
That's good. That's good.
My phone ain't ever been cut off. You know what I mean? Paid a few late fees every now and then, but that's part of the deal. That's part of being an entrepreneur.
That's part of the entrepreneur.
But
you're not just gonna wake up in a Bugatti.
No,
that only happens in the rap videos.
That's and that stuff's rented.
Right.
But by the grace of God, man, we I haven't looked back. Has it all been peaches and cream? Absolutely not. Any real entrepreneur has quit probably 100 times.
Sure. But that's the cool thing about entrepreneurship, man. It's levels to this.
Oh my God.
It's levels.
Oh my God.
I believe the Bible, man. I'm a Bible believer. I know you believe as well. And the reason why David was able to kill the giant Goliath is because he had already killed the lion, the bear. He had already been through that. You know what I'm saying? He had already perfected his craft. So when
it's this thing, man.
It's stages. So by the time that giant came, he was like,
oh, it's a giant.
That's a giant.
I got you.
I've been doing this. So it's levels.
I'm built for this, man.
You built for this. That's good stuff,
for this, man. And the thing that's funny that you mentioned that is I see a lot of new folks that come into this office and they want to get started. They catch the vision.
Sure.
We say that this business has got to be caught, not taught, right? So, nobody's in love with the wash loan provision inside of their insurance policy, right? That's not why you come to work here, right? You come to work here for what you can do for a family, how you can change the legacy of their last name, how you can make them wealthy long term. That's why you come to work here, right? But I see so many people, they walk in the doors and they get tripped up by the adversity that, to me, I know I went through it.
Gotcha.
I got tripped up by that too. And you try to tell them like, look, man, I'm not trying to blow you off, but like grand scheme of things, that's like the smallest thing in the world to worry about. But then what I gotta remember is, I had to go through that storm.
That's how you too, right?
In order to develop my strength. So you need to go through that too. You need to figure out how you're going to talk to your family about how you're going to be doing this. There's no guarantees here. Yeah, you got to pony up some money, go get some credentials. Yeah, you're going to spend a lot of time going through some licensing and training and personal development, all that thing. And you may not really truly earn a real paycheck for a few weeks or a few months. Yeah, you got to learn how to explain that, right? But then on the other side of it, all of a sudden you get that, first real check, that first real pay, and you're like, oh my God, I've never. And let me tell you something, that first paycheck that you get that is something that you had to do from a pad and paper or from the end of your own, truly from the end of your own two hands, it feels different. It feels different, man. It could have been smaller than your 2-week check and whatever your corporate job was, but man, that is the greatest feeling in the world when that money comes and you know it is a result of, you know, my energy, my activity, my attitude, you know, my development, and ultimately the fact I had to go and help somebody. I had to convert this up here and this right here into something that can benefit somebody out there, and then it was monetized. Greatest feeling in the world. I've never been able to duplicate that feeling in anything else, right? Playing golf, working out, you know, I used to play basketball a lot, you know, shooting hoops with my friends, going out partying. I've never duplicated the feeling that I've had from standing in front of a family or sitting in front of a family and creating something on paper that they knew nothing about before. They're now completely educated on, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt their family will benefit long term, and that creates a monetary success for me. It's like nothing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Nothing at all.
Won't compare to it.
No, not at all.
What's the next step for you?
For me, it's interesting. Is I chased you know, the promotion here of you know, senior marketing director, which is really the first level of ownership of our firm.
Okay.
And is to become a senior marketing director. You're really now in control of everything that comes in and out of your firm. You know, you really own all of the accounts that you've been putting together over all these times. There's some perks that come along with it. You get to share in the first level of bonuses with the company and so on and so forth. It's a wonderful feeling. You know, we believe it's one of the best positions in business that you can attain.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Is senior marketing director with our firm. And so I was on that chase for so long, and I had another one of our leaders, a guy by the name of J.D. Phillips. He was in the room when they gave me the award for hitting my promotion, and I was so choked. They asked me to say a few words. I was so choked up. I kind of messed up the speech I was giving.
Okay, you had already prepared for the speech.
Out the window, man. Out the window, man. Out the window, man. I mean, you know, I'm like the Old Spice commercial. Coach, I'm sensitive. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Completely messed it up.
Yeah, I feel.
But you know, one of the things I wanted to convey, you know, during that speech was, you know, my run here at this company and my promotion. I wanted to dedicate that to everybody that's ever been laughed at, made fun of, all the doubters that were out there. If you got people that are hating on you, telling you you're not gonna make it, you're a fool for doing this. You're wasting your time. Like my career is dedicated to you because I was that person. Nobody believed in me. Very few believed in me. Yeah, you really find out who your people are when you are an entrepreneur. I mean, you will really find out. You know, you'll find out whose blood, and family ain't blood, man. Oh, you'll find out who blood is. You'll find out who your close people are, people that held you down, the people that were going to refer you, people that are going to do business, give you a shot, right? You'll find out who those people are when you become an entrepreneur. So I dedicated that, you know, my run, and even to this day, is for those people, the people who are downtrodden, that are beat up on, who just, they feel like the world is on their shoulders. I'm here for you. I'm in the trenches with you. I'm in the foxhole with you. I believe that everything that I've experienced is to show others that, yo, this is possible, right? This is very, very possible. But, so, you know, that was the speech I was supposed to give.
Right. Didn't like that.
Nothing like that.
Right.
But JD looks at me, man. He said, I know what you're trying to say. And he said, I got to tell you something, man. That's a true inspiration. And he looked at me, he said, you're the dog that's caught its tail. And he said, you got to figure out what you're going to do next, right? And so, you know, every senior marketing director has an opportunity to really start forming an identity for their organization. And so I started branding my organization as Rise, right? And so if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, a lot of times I tag my posts with the term Rise. I'll put, you know, hashtag how money works, hashtag wealth web, and the last thing I put is hashtag Rise. Well, RISE stands for Raising Independent Successful Entrepreneurs.
Gotcha.
And I consider our team a leadership academy. And so a lot of the material that you're going to see that starts to come out from me over the next forever, really, will be branded Rise. And so, you know, I had my cousin design a logo for me because he's a graphic designer, and I reached out to him earlier this year, and I said, this is what I'm looking for. And so he created a logo for me, and I haven't started.
Here in the city?
He actually grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
Crazy enough, he lives in New Mexico now.
Wow.
Right, of all places.
I didn't think. Great.
Right, he ended up in New Mexico.
Okay.
Went to the University of California, the Redlands.
Okay.
And ended up in New Mexico.
Wow.
So, you know, kudos to him. Shout out to Mikhail Gray. You know, designed my logo for me. And he was like, cuz, I would love to do that for you. So put a logo together for me. And so right now what I've been doing is, you know, I have a degree in marketing.
Okay.
And so marketing is quietly one of the most difficult business degrees to get. But anyway, they lied to me, right? And so I hated going through it, but now that I'm in business, I so appreciate my degree because you know, marketing has so many aspects to it. You have the psychology aspect, the consumer behavior aspect, you have the branding aspect, the advertising, you have the statistics, all of those things. And so what I've been doing now is creating a buzz around the name Rise. So that's why I tag everything with the word Rise. Because there's multiple reasons. You know, there's multiple meanings towards it. You know, if you see me in the gym and I'm telling you, man, get up here and do this hashtag Rise, you know what I mean? That's what it means. It means get up out of your chair. I mean, whatever's going on, right? I don't care if you are freaking muscle atrophy. If you just got to walk in the gym or walk in your basement or walk in your other room, whatever.
Right.
And I don't care if it's a 2-pound weight in front of you and all you did was picked it up and you put that bad boy back down, and then we rinse and repeat. We picked it up and we put it back down again until that 2-pound weight is too light, and now we get a 5-pound weight, and we do that, right? I don't care if that's all you do. That's a part of rising, right? And so I'm very passionate about, you know, coming from your circumstances and then rising up and doing something else, right? Because, you know, my story is of that. You know, and I didn't want to be cliche and name our team the Phoenix.
Right. That's from the ashes. Right?
I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So you know, it took me some while to think of it, and I was like, oh man, you know what? And actually, this convention right here, this was convention 2015. We were in Las Vegas, and the actual theme for this convention was Rise.
Okay.
And so, you know, they had this little mosaic that's down here, and it was showing these colors rising out of the ground. And I always fell in love with the term Rise after that. And so I was playing around with it, and one day, man, like a ton of bricks hit me. It was like Rise, raising independent, successful entrepreneurs. And so I was like,
that's good.
Done, that's it. So now what's next for me is really going to be really theming out the term Rise. Like I said, I have a logo. You're going to really start seeing like t-shirts and polos and hats, and everything that I have will have that logo stamped on it or have those words stamped on it somewhere, because it creates a buzz for people, right? And people love to belong to something, right? And so I want to create a culture of belonging, but I also want to create a culture of, you got to earn it, you know what I mean? And so, you know, whether it be going to get that first credential, going to get that next license, going to help that next family, you know, you got to earn it. You know, people aren't just going to lay down in front of you and hand over their hard-earned money. You know what I mean? You got to work too hard, number one, and then number two, who are you?
Right.
I don't know you, you know, so you got to earn those things. So the next thing that's going to happen for me is really twofold. One is I'm still trying to replace myself.
Got you.
Right.
In the business.
In this business. Remember I said, ultimately you got to create leverage here. And so I'm in the process of trying to create that leverage and replacing myself. You know what I mean? Just because I arrived as senior marketing director doesn't mean I've made it. Matter of fact, we consider that the first step here.
So the next step.
Next step, man. Like I was saying, you know, we consider where we are the first step.
Okay.
You know, for me, it's about developing my brand.
Gotcha.
And, you know, we are, I don't think we talked about Rise. No, we didn't talk about Rise. Let me talk about that really quickly. So, every senior marketing director has an opportunity to really develop their brand, right, and their team and what they want it to look like. So, we have a great team here, WealthWave, and so within that team, my team goes by the code name Rise. Gotcha. Right, and so what Rise stands for is raising independent, successful entrepreneurs. And so, where that came from is here back in 2015. I was trying to figure out an identity for my team, and I just fell in love with the term Rise. And we were at a convention. This was like one of the first conventions I had a chance to go on stage and be recognized in front of some of my peers. And the theme for the convention was Rise. You had this little mosaic here, and it was these watercolors and things coming out of the ground, and the thing was Rise. And so for me, I just fell in love with the term, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks one day of, man, Rise. I like that. And then the acronym just came out to me. It was like raising independent, successful entrepreneurs. Wow. And so I was like, I love that. And so what I'm going to do now is you're going to see a lot of the marketing that I'm going to come out, a lot of content that I'm going to come out with will be tagged with Rise. Mm-hmm. And so, like even now on my social media, you'll see my handle. I'll always hashtag WealthWave, how money works, and then also hashtag Rise.
Gotcha. I saw that.
Yeah. And so what that is merely creating a buzz around the word. And so a lot of the marketing material that comes out, training material, I have a logo my cousin created for me. Shout out to Shawn Drake. He's out in New Mexico. New Mexico, really? Right? And there's not many places I don't know a lot about. Mm-hmm. I know at least something. Right. And he told me, he was like, yeah, cuz I'm out in New Mexico. And I was like, the hot air balloon place?
Really? Really? From Chicago.
From Chicago. I have my younger cousin, super talented, love him to death, man. But I told him what I was looking for. He created a logo for me. And I really posted it up a whole lot of places. I don't want to rip off my stuff, but you're going to start seeing everything, my shirts, my hats, the t-shirts, and everything will start being branded with Rise, because I want people I want my team to have an identity, let people know we stand for something. And then, also let them know that you gotta earn it here, and so you gotta be a part of, a greater collective, like I was saying, with getting that next license and going out and doing the next thing. So that's what I've got going on there. But, again, like I was mentioning before, duplicating myself, really is the next step. Just because I've arrived as senior marketing director doesn't mean I've made it, I'm still trying to replace myself. Right. And so, it takes 10 people to replace me. So why not go get 100 people?
That's good.
Right? And replace yourself 10 times. Mm-hmm. And so now, again, it goes back to, I don't have to worry about the money. Now I can actually go do what I want to do, which is spread our message of, financial literacy. And because financial literacy, is one of those things that it affects 5 million people on the planet. Wow. 2 out of 3 people internationally are financially illiterate, and we measure that by being able to answer 5 simple questions about money, right? And understanding how the money works. 1 out of 2 in the United States can't answer those questions, right? Now you think about that for a second.
Never look at it. That's good.
1 out of 3 people are affected by cancer in their lifetime, and 1 out of 2 people are completely financially illiterate, right? But you talk about epidemic. Mm-hmm. It's huge. I said this in a meeting here with some of my teammates, and I said that financial illiteracy is on par with drunken driving. It's probably equal to or greater than the level of danger as drunk driving. If I get drunk and get in a car, I put my life at risk, right? And definitely my passengers and anyone else driving on the road, right? Somebody hits me as a drunk driver, I could die. If I don't die and I'm the drunk driver, I go to jail, I lose my life, lose my livelihood, right? But what about financial literacy? What's the cost of not knowing how money works, right? People are living in this dream world of, I'm gonna retire in my 60s, right? I'm gonna retire 65, 70, and get Social Security, and some money's gonna come from somewhere. I pay off my house, my car will be paid for, all that stuff. And I'm like, how many people do you know actually doing that?
Right.
How many people do you actually know right now? House paid off, car paid off, money flowing. They're traveling wherever they want to go. They're going to bingo on Thursday nights, and they're jumping on the cruises, and life is good, right? How many people like that? Right. And like you, I know a lot of people, and that ain't the case. That ain't the case, right? So is that real? Is that actually legitimate? Maybe in some places, but in the world that I've lived in, I've not seen that.
Good.
Right? And very few people that I've seen actually living that standard. So for me, what that tells me is our message is massive. And so above and beyond the money, the money will come. But above and beyond the money, I need people to come and spread this message with me, because it affects everybody, right? It affects my parents, grandparents, right? I'm the first person in my family to come and talk about money with my family. Now think about that.
Wow.
Right? We came here hardworking, right? Cooperative economics, work together, live together. Not one person came and showed up and sat at the table with us and said, hey, let me teach you guys about how money works. How you put money aside in a couple different places, as long as you just do that and be financially, set for life. Right? And that's really all it takes. It takes a little bit of money over a long period of time. Right? And I've got friends that work at other firms, and we have different philosophies on how to get there. But we're talking about the difference between an SUV, a sports car, and a sedan. Mm-hmm. All gonna arrive at the same destination, right? Some do it differently. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I'd rather you go talk to at least one of them and talk to nobody.
That's good.
I prefer you come and talk to me, but if you don't talk to me, talk to somebody, right? It's reckless for you to be out here with a family and not have some provisions in place for them, right? And some people have big families.
That's good.
Some people, the spouse don't work. Well, what happens if you can't work? Mm-hmm. What happens if you get sick or injured? What happens, not if, but when? Mm-hmm. What are we gonna do? Here's the storm. Here's a different type of storm, right? And the longer we wait, the more it costs, right? And so if we just take a little bit of money and we just put in place maybe 2 accounts, right? Nothing crazy, Drake, talk to me about Bitcoin, how's it work, and talk to me about stocks and all this stuff. Stop. Let me teach you some basic concepts on how money works, right? Let me teach you some very, very basic. Teach you about Rule of 72. Let me teach you about tax now, later, and never. And let me show you a couple of accounts to put in place. You just use these 2 accounts. And whatever you do above and beyond that, I don't care. But these 2, just keep going. And no matter what, rain or shine, we treat them like a part of the family. We just keep them going. You're going to wake up 20, 30 years from now wealthy.
Wow.
That's all it takes. So, and you can tell I'm fired about it.
That's good.
But, my next step is duplication and getting more people to catch that understanding, right? The financial industry is the only $1 trillion industry in the world. It's bigger than retail and real estate combined times 2, right? And so, how many $1 trillion industries do we have right now? Right, there's one, financial industry, right? And so, I want people to understand that you have an opportunity to win here, and come and be let me show you how to leverage for yourself, right? I aspire to be a multi-millionaire, right? You may just be a person that wants to get your family out of debt and make some extra money. Fantastic, right? You may be the person that just says, hey, you know what? I didn't do what I was supposed to do for my retirement. I want to do a little extra. Fantastic, right? God bless you, right? But I want to leverage that. I want to teach people about leverage. I want to teach people what it takes to win and be a superstar here. So yeah, man. So that's what's going on, man.
So real quick, for the people out there, some entrepreneurs out there who are thinking about getting involved in business, got an idea, got a concept, just don't know what it takes to do it, man. What type of words of encouragement, what type of words would you give them?
Man, so the first time I look at the camera,
okay.
Right? All my business trainers have don't look in the camera, right? But first time I look in the camera, right? I want to speak directly to the folks that are out there. Man, I want to do that, right? They're having so much fun. They got on t-shirts, look at them, right? First thing I would tell you is, if you have an idea, then you got to defend that idea and protect that idea, like, with your life, right? and not something goofy that somebody else has done already, right? Like not a better mousetrap. I'm talking about, you know, when you have something inspirational, right? You got to defend it and protect it, right? And then sometimes it is a better mousetrap.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it is. You know what? I know folks that are bakers. I know folks that are you know, caterers. I know folks that are barbers. I mean, excellent, good people. But they do it a little bigger. They have a little bit bigger idea, right? And so, above and beyond protecting and defending your idea, you gotta write it down.
That's good.
You gotta get that down on paper, right? It just starts. I don't care if it's this Post-it note and a pen, right? And you just say, I am going to win at this tomorrow, right? And you wrote that down and you took that with you every day, right? And you stared at it several times a day. Your idea, your thought, right? You gotta bring it with you. You gotta keep it close to the vest. And in those dark moments, you know, during the day, you can pull that out and say, this is why I'm going through this. This is why I'm doing this, right? This is why I'm suffering right now. This is why I traded in the BMW and I'm driving the MW. Right? You know, the reason you're doing all that. And now all of a sudden it becomes a part of you. You're hardwired to it. And now, you know, you can keep it with you. The great Ed Milet told me years ago. He said, there's a difference between believing something and knowing something.
That's good. That's good.
You know, your beliefs can be taken from you, right? Knowing something is known, right? So the reason I say good morning, no matter what time of day it is, when I walk into a room with somebody, right? And it immediately like trips somebody's wires. They're like, good morning, it's 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I can do it. What are you talking about good morning? And I'm yet to have anybody prove to me that it's not morning. Right? Wow. And I say, well, it's 3 now. Do you know that? Do you believe that? Well, my watch says, the computer says, well, who created those things? Tell me it's not morning. Prove to me it's not. Right? And so, all this different kind of dude. Yeah, I am. You know? So you can't just believe you have a good idea. You gotta know it, you gotta write it down, you gotta really map it out. You gotta keep it with you. Because an opportunity is gonna come.
That's good. Good.
And if you're not ready to strike when that opportunity comes,
you're gonna miss it.
All day.
Okay.
All day. All day.
That's good. Man, this has been good. We got at it.
Man.
We got at it.
I love it, man.
Real quick, tell everybody how they can actually get in contact with you and everything you got going on.
Couple ways you can get in contact with me through my website, wealthwave.com/Drake. We've got some incredible interactive videos on there. You can hear about our mission, our vision. You can book an appointment with me if you want right from the website. I think you'd be crazy to have a 14-and-a-half-year veteran. You know, multiple licenses. I hold insurance license, a Series 6, a 63, a Series 65 license. I'm a fiduciary.
Wow.
You know, you'd be crazy to not book a free appointment, bring your stuff down here, and let me audit it for you. And you know, at least give you my professional opinion. What you do with it, that's up to you. But you'd be crazy to do that. It would be like you working on your jump shot. Steph Curry walked in and said, hey, why don't you come by the house, let me evaluate your jump shot and give you some tips.
That's good. Yeah, you'd be crazy not to do it.
Right? I'm not saying I'm Steph Curry, but any professional level athlete, if they did that for you, you'd be like, yeah! Dude, the 10th man on the bench for the Chicago Bulls, I would take professional advice on shooting from if I'm trying to be a pro. Right? Because you're at a place I'm not. So why wouldn't you come down and do that? So check out my website. You know, great way to get in contact with me. You can reach me. My number 904-233-1375. My number's been the same 20 years now. And it'll be the same for the next 20 years. All right. And so yeah, that's how they can find me. Come down, check us out. You know, come check out our facilities. I think, needless to say, you liked it when you walked in.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, whoa, you're doing that major over here. You gonna give them the address of the place?
8081 Phillips Highway, Suite 22, Jacksonville, Florida 32256. Love to have you. If nothing else, if you're in the neighborhood, come down and say hi. You know, shout out Chris here. Say, hey, I saw the video, man. We want to come check you out. Make sure this is a real legit place.
Legit spot.
Yeah, man. Come check us out. We love to have you. Love to have you, man. Pleasure to do this with you.
We've been trying to get it for a minute. So let's not plan what we do. Let's lock it down.
Yeah, man.
Get it done. So,
yeah, anything I can do to help you, you know, I'm here. Absolutely, man.
Until next time, y'all. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Peace.
Peace.
We out.